You're standing in your driveway 3 days after someone rear-ended you at a stoplight, and your neck still won't turn to the left. You didn't call the police, the other driver seemed nice, apologized, traded insurance information, and you both drove away. Very common scenario. Now their insurance company just called and said, without a police report, they're denying your claims. You're holding $8,000 in medical bills for an auto accident that you didn't cause. Here's what the adjuster didn't tell you. Illinois law does not require an officer-written police report as a prerequisite to your claim. Your claim isn't dead, but it's bleeding out fast. Every day that you wait, critical evidence disappears. Security camera footage gets overwritten. Witnesses, memories fade, and the insurance company builds their case that this accident never happened the way that you said it did. If they can push enough of that doubt onto your story, then your claim disappears without it. I'm Illinois attorney Jason Marker. I've got 25 years fighting Illinois insurance companies on these types of cases. Before you accept that denial, you need to know what evidence exists and how fast to move. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to save your case and get the best settlement, even though you didn't have a police report. Maria left a Naperville grocery store at 7 p.m. when another driver backed out of their space and crashed right into her quarter panel. They exchanged information. No police came. 2 weeks later, the other driver told their insurance company that Maria hit them while speeding through the lot. No report existed to prove otherwise. Maria thought that her case was finished. It wasn't, but she needed to move immediately. In Illinois, a missing police report doesn't automatically kill a claim. Crashes are reportable sometimes, and sometimes they're not. Illinois State Police guidance says a crash report is required if there's death, bodily injury, or more than $1,500 in property damage when all the drivers are insured, or $500 if the driver is uninsured. If an officer doesn't appear, you generally have 10 days to file an SR1 as directed by the Illinois State Police. That's a different document from an officer-written report, and filing it yourself can strengthen your claim by creating an official record on your term. But even when there's no officer who wrote a report at the scene, you can still prove what happened with alternative evidence. And the clock on that evidence starts immediately after your accident. Insurance companies know that most accident victims don't know this, which is why adjusters use the missing report as psychological leverage to try to deny your claim or force a lowball settlement. Witnesses' memories fade fast and credibility drops the longer that you wait. Many surveillance systems also are overwritten with footage in days or weeks. Your own memories of the vehicle positions and the road conditions many times deteriorate or degrade daily. The question isn't whether you can prove that your Illinois car accident without a police report. It's whether you'll actually gather the right evidence before it vanishes. David was T-boned in Joliet at an intersection. The other driver ran a red light, but David's phone was dead and he couldn't photograph the scene. The other driver left before anyone arrived. David assumed that without the pictures or a report that he had no case. He was wrong, but only because he acted within 48 hours to secure what remained. First, photographs and video. Take pictures of all the vehicle damage from multiple angles, street positions, the skid marks, the traffic signals, weather conditions, and any visible injuries that you have. Time-stamped photos and metadata can help authenticate when and where evidence was captured. Second, witness statements. Get names, phone numbers, and written or recorded statements from anyone who saw the crash. The other drivers, pedestrians, store employees, independent witnesses' testimony can be very powerful, especially when it matches the physical damage and the medical timeline. Third, medical records. Seek treatment immediately and tell your doctors that you were in a car accident. Medical records created as close in time as possible to the accident create a timeline that's very hard to dispute. Fourth, repair estimates and vehicle inspections. Get written assessments from mechanics that describe the damages and how consistent they are with your account of how the crash happened. Fifth, surveillance footage. Identify every camera nearby or within view of the accident scene. Gas stations, businesses, traffic cameras, doorbell cameras, and request footage in writing immediately before it's gone. 3 days after her accident, Michelle returned to the intersection in Schaumburg where she had been sideswiped. She thought returning to the scene was pointless without a time machine. Well, it wasn't. She discovered that two details that won her case. A business surveillance camera that she found. She hadn't noticed it at a stop sign was obscured by tree branches that explained why the other driver didn't yield. Returning to the accident location as soon as possible is very helpful. Photograph the scene in the same lighting and the weather conditions as when the crash happened. If it happened at night, return at night. Measure and document distances, how far from the intersection, how wide were the lanes, the sightline obstructions, all of these things. Identify every businesses with exterior cameras and request footage immediately if possible in writing. Private businesses have no obligation to preserve footage unless subpoenaed, so request it before they have a legal duty to retain it. Look for environmental factors that you didn't notice during the trauma of the crash. Faded lane markings, broken traffic signals, oil slicks, potholes. Take video narrating what you see. Gather it as fast and accurately, and it can carry real weight. Insurance companies challenge this evidence by claiming bias or faulty memory, which is why you need corroboration from the next evidence type. 10 days after his accident, Carlos still hadn't seen a doctor because his back pain seemed manageable. The other driver's insurance sent him a letter saying that the delay in his treatment proved that the accident didn't cause his injuries. Carlos thought he'd waited too long. He hadn't, but the gap gave the insurance company ammunition. Illinois insurance companies use treatment gaps to argue injuries weren't accident related. You got to seek medical attention if you can within 24 to 72 hours, even if you feel fine. Soft tissue injuries and concussions often are delayed and their symptoms are delayed. Tell the treating physician that you were in a motor vehicle accident. Describe every symptom, every minor one, every major one. The records become your injury timeline. Request copies of all your medical records, your bills, and imaging results. Next, document all of the accident-related expenses, towing receipts, rental car costs, lost wages, missed work, medication receipts, all of it. Illinois personal injury law allows you to recover for both economic damages, like medical bills and those losses, and non-economic damages like pain and suffering. But you've got to prove the economic damages first. Create a spreadsheet with dates, providers, and costs. Get a written statement from your employer confirming that you missed work and your lost income. Obtain at least 2 repair estimates for your vehicle damage. Under Illinois law, if you're found more than 50% at fault, you recover nothing, 0. But every documentation gap that the insurance company finds becomes a tool to shift fault onto you and push you over that line. Illinois also gives you 2 years from the accident date to file a personal injury lawsuit, but evidence degrades long before that deadline arrives. The adjuster told Sharon that without a police report, her version of the accident was just her word against the other driver's word. So they were denying the claim. Sharon thought this was the law, but it wasn't. It was a negotiation tactic. Insurance adjusters are trained to use missing police reports as leverage to deny claims or reduce settlements. When an adjuster says they need a police report, respond in writing. Illinois law does not require an officer-written police report as a prerequisite to this claim. I'm providing you with the following documentation: witness statements, medical records created as close in time as possible to the accident, photographs of the vehicle damage and the scene conditions, and repair estimates from 2 licensed mechanics. And if a motorist crash report is required, I have filed or am filing the SR1 as directed by the Illinois State Police within the required timeline. It's exactly what you say. Send everything via certified mail with a return receipt. Illinois claim handling rules require insurance to acknowledge, investigate, and affirm or deny claims within a required time frame and with reasonable standards. If an insurer denies based only on the absence of an officer-written police report while ignoring the evidence that you've also provided, then that's exactly the kind of issue the Illinois Department of Insurance accepts complaints about. Document every communication with the insurance company. Dates, times, names, what was said. If they offer a settlement, don't accept immediately. Once you sign a release, you cannot reopen the claim, even if you discover injuries later. An experienced Illinois personal injury attorney like me can pressure the insurance companies to accept alternative evidence, and we can subpoena surveillance, footage, or witness testimony that the company ignores. Now you know how to build your case without a police report. But here's the fight that comes next. Once you've documented the accident, the insurance company pivots to a second weapon, fault percentage. In Illinois, if they can push you past 51% responsibility, then the entire claim disappears, $0, regardless of your evidence. So that's exactly what we break down in the previous video. Illinois car accident fault, 51% means 0. Watch that next. And if you're dealing with the denial right now, don't wait. Clock is ticking and evidence is disappearing. Thanks for watching. I'm attorney Jason Marker, and we're here to fight for you if you need us. We'll see you on the next video.